in the whole 6010.
Welcome into Fantasy Focus, presented by Little Caesars. My name is Daniel Dopp, alongside Field Yates and Mike Clay. We cannot wait to talk about how good SGA looked last night. Unbelievable.
White start.
Is that a band?
Yes.
You went to a concert
Alexander. No, he is a really good basketball player. Sorry. Basketball.
What pick did you have in the first round of our draft?
I had the 10th pick of the first round.
Okay, so you did not get SGA.
I did not get SGA. No, I did not.
Guys, I'm on the show today, okay? I don't know what you're
Oh,
talking
okay,
about,
got it. Okay. All right.
Great opening night, but don't forget, the Celtics are going to surprise people this year. It all starts tonight against Mike Sixers.
Oh, yeah. We talk about NASCAR? Chase Briscoe, getting the win. My buddy racing for the championship in a couple weeks. So
Mike, just stop.
Love it.
Just stop.
Good. Hey, we're excited to be here. I love you guys. I love getting to do the show with you guys. Love being able to hang out and see your beautiful smiling faces. Also love Trophy Smack. Head on over to TrophySmack.com. Use the promo code FOCUS10 for 10% off your order. We got a big show planned for us today.
Yeah, we do.
We're diving into a bunch of confidence guys. High confidence, low confidence. Where are we at? We're about halfway through the fantasy season.
Yep.
We want to say, who are we big on? Who are we not big on moving forward? We also have a little field in the blanks. Field brings together a couple of sentences and lets us fill in the blanks there. So that's going to be a ton of fun. But first, I think we have a confession to make.
Oh, boy.
Actually, Mike, you should be the one doing this. Mike Clay has a confession to make because he would like everyone to know he is officially from the future as he nails yet another long shot bet.
Yeah.
How is this possible? Kanata Mumfield was rostered in 0.0% of leagues, and you called it touchdown.
That was sick.
That's because I played by the rules, okay? Remember?
That's
right.
You came back
you guys
at
were
us.
cheating.
Fantasy
I
karma.
played by the rules. Yeah,
That's
that
true.
was. I honestly, that was. Look, there's always a little luck in there. He had
A little luck. A lot of luck for us.
Yeah, a lot of luck. I mean, he had one target, two targets in the game. But it was fun, just to take a long shot like that. But that's where I was going with this. I feel like he was the longest of long shots we've picked so far. When I was choosing him, I was like, this one is really off the radar. So it's awesome when those hit. And a lot of people went over to ESPN Bet and made first touchdown and anytime touchdown bets, and that paid off in a big way. So congrats
I think
all
on
of you.
principle. So we're now 5 wins in 6 weeks.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if people are out there listening, history would tell us, and I'm not sure that history is always the best predictor of the future, but maybe you didn't someone bet like $2 on Mumfield to win?
Yeah, first touchdown and anytime touchdowns. That paid.
And it was a 60-1 payout.
Yes, yeah.
So that must have been
means
anytime touchdown. There's no way that was first and anytime touchdown.
He did 2. So one of them was 60-1. One of them was like 25-1 or something like that.
Mumfield was only 25-1
for an anytime touchdown, but that's normal for like a long shot.
Okay,
like
wow.
if a guy is projected to play some snaps, it's like in that vicinity generally.
Unbelievable still. Mike, when you look at, you're the numbers guy on the show, right? I mean, obviously we know, Field, I know you're the numbers guy, but because Mike's here, I want to make him feel good.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, you hit 5 out of 6 weeks for a guy that's rostered in less than 1% of leagues. How attainable is it for us to do this for the rest of the season?
Well, that's what I was just going to say. We're definitely going to go 0 for 8. Now,
is that what it's going to be?
Now that people are tailing us, we're going to
correct. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable though. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
The elephant in the room is that Mike has now hit it twice.
Stop.
I've hit it twice.
Stop.
Producers hit it once.
Field. We need it.
This is why you were being so nice to me.
That's exactly right. And we weren't trying to bring it back. This is about you.
Got it. All right, never mind.
It's your turn this week.
I took Van Jefferson, who had 4 catches for like 40-some yards. He was actually involved in the offense, unlike the scrub that Mike picked, who had 1 target.
I picked a good offense, though. Good quarterback.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, you did pick a good offense.
Okay.
Well, that's where my brain goes to because I was watching the Cardinals game with slightly more intent because it's A. Jones.
Yeah.
And he'd have a catch. Now, the Cardinals would be at like their own 25-yard line. Jacoby Brissett would throw a 7-yard out to Zay Jones. I'd be like, let's go!
Take you to the house, let's go!
And I'd be like, oh, wait, you're still 67 yards from the end zone. This is nowhere close to paying off.
Unbelievable. Just shout out to you. This is going to be a ton of fun. We'll do it again this week, but 5 in 6 weeks,
Yeah, let's go.
Very cool. All right, let's dive in to our confidence meter here. We each brought 2 players that we have high confidence in, 2 players that we have low confidence in, and I'm going to start with you, Field Yates. Let's start with a high confidence player for you.
Coming off the bye, the Baltimore Ravens play the Chicago Bears on Sunday. The
Just
game
the Ravens
is
in
at
general?
home. Yeah. We'll see.
That's another conversation, but a good one, though.
I think the Ravens, tracking what the Ravens' odds are to win the AFC North would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, they have to win on Sunday, or else I think you stick a fork in their chances to win the division.
A lot of talent over there.
They do, yes, but we'll still see whether Lamar Jackson is available. They had this bonus practice on Monday. He was not there for whatever that's worth. The answer could be nothing. They practice later on today. We'll see if he's available, but even if he isn't, Derrick Henry does find himself in a good spot. The Bears are allowing over 34 fantasy points per game to opposing running backs this season, bottom 8 in the NFL. On top of that, the last time we saw the Ravens, they still lost, but they were able to look a little more functioning as an offense. Derrick Henry rushed for over 100 yards, well over 100 yards. It was his first good game since week 1. I think the Ravens coming in with some trying to think of the right word, some ferocity, some ticked offness, some PO'dness out of the bye, understanding that pretty much every game going forward is close to a must win. And a good matchup on Sunday with or without Lamar Jackson. My confidence is up in Derrick Henry. He's RB8 on my board.
RB8?
Yeah.
Love that, especially with the way that he's kind of been a little bit of back and forth, but really good matchup here this week. Love it.
Yeah,
Mike, where are you going here?
Mine is Bo Nix. I'm going to give him 6.7 out of 10, guys. Okay, that's my confidence.
Dog. You are a dog.
This my girls do that all day. So,
Dude,
Do they?
My neighbor says it's now 41s.
Yeah, that's a new one, 41. I told my oldest she should come up with her own, so we're working on our own and see like if she can make that become a thing, and then it'll blow up.
Are you going to be like, you know what, honey? Here's what you got to do. You got to do like a little regression to the mean, then you multiply it by the sine cosine, and you end up with 2.37924444.
You see, inexperienced dad, you don't get it. It has to be simple, okay? You got to cater.
You're the
to
math
masses.
guy. Yeah.
No, we're not going
What,
to do that.
sine, cosine isn't simple for your girls,
Nope.
Mike?
Coca-Cola.
That's not cool.
Wow.
That's
Last
not
time
cool
I
at
said
all.
that on the podcast, people were fired up about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like one person, but still.
Look, as a resident
It was a
nerd, I
teacher.
know that's not cool. Okay,
Okay.
like that's not.
All right.
All right. What was that?
That's a snoring. That was a snoring sound
Yeah,
effect.
exactly. You get it.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I'm going with Bo Nix. A lot of confidence
Thought
here
about him.
after what we saw last week. Slow start to the year, 1 weekly finish better than 12th, but a quarterback high 40 points against the Giants, almost all of which came in the fourth quarter, 2 passing and 2 rushing touchdowns just in the fourth quarter of that game. Also, his second highest passing yardage total of the game. Look, his passing efficiency has not been very good so far, but we saw that last year too.
Yeah.
He came out slow as a passer and then picked up as the year went on. So that gives me some confidence, some evidence that he can improve as the season progresses. But of course, guys, the big thing here is the matchup against the Cowboys, the most fantasy points of quarterbacks, top 3 in passing yards and passing touchdowns, as well as rushing yards and rushing touchdowns quarterbacks as well. We know Knicks can run it. Every quarterback that has faced the Cowboys has scored at least 17.7 fantasy points this season.
And Jaden Daniels got hurt last week and still
that
reached that
Jaylen
number.
Daniels. Exactly right. So he's QB5 for me. I would call him a lineup lock here with 6 teams on a bye in week number 8.
Can I give you guys a added bonus for Bo Nix that unfortunately comes at the cost of a player that I'm invested in the War Room League, which is J.K. Dobbins? I am telling you, no coach in the NFL on 1st and goal from the 2 likes to run 4 straight passing plays more than Sean Payton. Like I feel like J.K. Dobbins has run the football effectively this year, and then they get to the goal line, and it's like, hold on now, can't do that.
Yeah.
We can't.
Can't do it.
We can't. We need to make this hard on ourselves and potentially turn the football over or not score any points.
They're going to think we're going to run it 4 straight downs, so we're going to pass it 4 straight downs to confuse them instead.
Wasn't it last week? Was it last week where I believe it was 1st and goal from the 2? The first play, they tried to throw the football to their left tackle, Garrett Bowles.
Yep.
The second play, it was incomplete.
Yep.
Third play, it was a wide receiver screen to Cortland Sutton that
got blown up.
for like a 0-yard gain.
Yeah.
Then on 4th, maybe it was 2nd and 2 from the goal. Like it was like 1st and goal from the 6. We get 4 yards, 2nd and goal from the 2. And so let's not run the football anymore.
Not once.
Right? Like all we need is to be 50% as effective as we were on the last run, and we're not going to do that. So interesting strategy, which helps Bo Nix a little bit. Daniel, who is your first pick for most confidence or confidence up?
Coming off a tough week against the Detroit Lions, Rachaad White, I think, has a bounce back week against the New Orleans Saints. Wide receiver, unfortunately, we know is just depleted right now in Tampa. We are expecting good passing game usage because of that. Obviously, with Mike Evans going to be out, Chris Godwin still banged up, Emeka Egbuka, hopefully he'll be good to go. But over the last 4 games, 4 catches, 3 catches, and 4 catches for Rachaad White. Getting a lot of really good passing game volume. Previous 2 games before the Lions game, he had 18 touches in both of those games, 23 fantasy points and 17.6 fantasy points. We're expecting no Bucky Irving again this week.
Dude, This injury is wild.
It's
for
it's
Bucky.
crazy how long this feels like it's lasting.
Because it's been under discussed, maybe because the Bucks have so many other injuries, but wasn't it originally? It felt like it was minor.
Yes.
Yeah, it did. I don't wonder if they had a game next. They have a bye next week. I wonder if they did if he would have went on IR. Maybe he's not because they felt like he'd be good to go after the bye week.
After that.
Yeah. Also, he had some social posts too after the injury, which was a little suspicious too. So I don't know what's exactly is all going on there, but
Which medium were you on? TikTok?
No, it was. I think it was on. Was it on X or Instagram?
It's on X. It's Twitter.
We call it Twitter.
Yeah, it's Twitter. Whatever. I call it by both. But he had some interesting commentary on there, which we don't have to get into that right now. But
no, please divulge.
I don't remember exactly what it was.
Just make it up. Why not?
So Rashad White was in my DMs, and he said, "Good throwback to a couple years ago."
Yeah, that's not bad.
He's back on top now, though. I'm with you on Rashad White. But
He's got a good matchup. Good matchup this week. Saints are allowing the 12th most fantasy points to running backs so far. 6 of the 7 starting running backs that have played the Saints this year. Thank you, Field. Have hit at least 14.4 fantasy points. Every team that has played him, except for the Patriots, have had a running back that's either had 100 total yards or they found a way to get in the end zone. So Rashad White is my running back, probably 6-7 this week with an 8 out of 10 confidence.
I like it. Same game, other side of the ball.
Okay. Saints
sliding under the radar a little bit is Chris Olave. So Chris Olave is all the way up to wide receiver 6 for me this week. So strong confidence meter here for me. And so I think that probably public perception on Chris Olave is like it's still a little bit too up and down because this offense is up and down. Not exactly the case all of a sudden. Is Chris Olave has back-to-back games with 98 receiving yards exactly.
Yep.
But he has at least 54 receiving yards in all but one game this year. I'm not saying that 54 is the target you're looking for the 6th ranked wide receiver. Yes, but it's like if you're getting 54 and like 5 catches, if the floor is somewhere around 10 plus fantasy points per week, we should be talking about this player a whole lot more. They do play the Buccaneers, which the matchup to me is not a gigantic advantage. It's not a gigantic detriment either, but he is the focal point of this Saints offense. He is now tied for second in targets. Only Jamar Chase has more targets than Chris Olave. So far this season, volume matters. The Saints offense often plays from behind, as you guys may guess. So, yeah, whatever that person just said, I agree.
Good sound effects.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm in on Chris Olave.
Me too.
8 end zone targets too. He's 4th in end zone targets.
Yeah,
so a lot of use.
Like
Struggling with drops a little bit, but that'll happen. When
I like
you're
you.
seeing
Like
so
you a
much
lot.
so many targets. So, yeah, looking good.
Okay. All right, give us another one, Mike. Another high confidence guy for you.
All right, this one might be a little bold. I'm going to say 7 out of 10 Flacco coins for T. Higgins. 7 out of 10.
Wow.
And
tell us more.
Flacco coins is crypto, of course, and we know that crypto's kind of all over the place. I'm doing this again, but
that's not it.
It's not a 6-7 reference.
Forget about that. That's just all over the map. So that's why it's a crypto coin, because who knows with Joe Flacco? Like, he might be great this week, terrible next week.
Might be elite.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm going to miss 7 out of 10 Flacco coin.
Okay,
got it.
I like it.
You want to invest, by the way, guys?
Yes.
I have a great opportunity for you.
What does one coin cost?
One coin after last week?
Yeah.
$5 million?
$31 each.
$31. That's it?
Didn't he have about 31 fantasy points?
It's a steal. I'll take 20. Yeah.
However many points he puts up. That's how much.
I assumed it was how old he was. So it should be $41 at least.
$41,
Yeah.
Hey, come on. He's coming off a big game where he was a younger quarterback.
You're right. He was the younger quarterback there. You're right.
But anyway, T. Higgins coming off the big game, 6 for 96 and a touchdown on 10 targets last week. Season highs across the board. His first game with over 14.6 fantasy points this season. The week prior, too, had 8 targets. Flacco's first game with the team, 62 yards and 5 catches in that one. And, of course, the matchup this week against the Jets. Now, guys, we talked about this, and I texted you on Sunday because this is kind of fascinating. We've been talking about it a little bit in the Shadow Report, but now it's really starting. We're starting to get some serious evidence.
Yeah, we are.
All right, so the Jets have struggled across the board against the pass. However, Sauce Gardner has played well when he's shadowed. He's been up against number ones, likely to shadow Jamar Chase
if he plays.
Still in the concussion protocol.
Exactly right, if Sauce Gardner plays. But either way, if he doesn't, it's an even better matchup
Correct.
for the Bengals receivers. But anyway, the receivers that Gardner has shadowed are averaging 9.7 fantasy points per game this year.
Seems bad.
Yeah.
So now, if you look at, there have been 4 receivers that have scored 14 points against him this year. It's none of the guys Sauce has shadowed. It's the secondary options in those games where he has shadowed. Ryan Flournoy. There it is. Calvin Austin Emeka Buka, and most recently Xavier Legette had a huge game last
Yes, he
week.
did.
93, yeah.
So I find that interesting. I feel like there's a pattern here. We're going into week 8, and this sets up T. Higgins as that secondary receiver for the Bengals, which means Noah Fan will have 9,000 yards.
Correct.
Yes.
Exactly.
But anyway,
Yes.
Higgins, a little bit of a boost this week with Chase dealing with Sauce Gardner. Again, if he plays. And again, if he's out, this is a great matchup for the Bengals pass offense. So confidence in Higgins after what we've seen with Flacco and with this matchup this week.
I tried to take T. Higgins yesterday at lunch when we were doing the show note because I knew that you'd been talking about the opposite wide receiver on the other side of the Sauce shadow. I was like, is T. Higgins available? Christina was like, no, Mike's already got him.
Yeah,
You're not
trying
allowed
to
talk
steal my
about him."
guy.
I
Trying to
did
steal my
because I knew you were
analysis.
going to do it. I knew that's how it was going to work. I got a wide receiver that I am feeling good about as well. Rome Odunze.
Oh,
Taking on the Ravens. Rome Odunze has now looked good the last 2 games. But I have good confidence in him here. Started super strong, if you remember, over 15 fantasy points in 4 straight games, scored in every single one of those games. And then back-to-back duds coming out of the bye. 5 fantasy points in each of the last 2 games with target concerns in both of those games. First 4 games of the season, averaged 8.75 targets per game. Last 2 games, he's averaging 5.5 targets. So it's been weird the way that it felt like coming out of the bye, they've actually done less from a passing game perspective. But I do believe that with a bounce back game here on tap because of the matchup, Ravens allowing the 5th most fantasy points per game to wide receivers. 5 wide receivers have hit at least 15 fantasy points in 6 games against the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm thinking if you're going to get a 15, they've had a bye already, which is why there's only 6 games. The defense is getting a little bit healthier. Roquan Smith is coming back. They have been banged up, but they are having a few people come back. We saw Marlon Humphrey already come back to this team last week, 2 weeks ago, excuse me. So we'll see how this looks. However, I'm just going to continue to trust the matchup because the Ravens have been a defense that you can play wide receivers against. And this is one of those bounce back opportunities after 2 duds with Rome Odunze. My confidence is 7 out of 10. He is my wide receiver 10 against the Baltimore Ravens this week.
okay. Good stuff right there.
I'm a little lower. I'm at 16. I feel like the Ravens are going to be better after the bye. Get healthier. I mean,
They have gotten healthier
they have
for
a
sure.
super talented secondary. They also have Wiggins. You mentioned Humphrey, Awuzie, and maybe Jair Alexander at some point plays a role. Kyle Hamilton at safety. I mean, they have a lot of talent. and they should
Uzier
be
has a
healthier
chance to be back this week too. He's back at
exactly.
practice,
So I think if there's a defense that's been poor so far that has a good shot to be really good in the second half, yeah, I mean this applies to the defense and the team as a whole. It's definitely the Ravens. So I'm a little more hesitant to kind of pick on them, especially off the bye. But
Still have him as a
I
starter.
agree in general that Odunze is still a guy we view as a fringe wide receiver 1 most weeks.
All right, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of trivia to get into my lower confidence player. By the way, my Derrick Henry confidence is 8. My Chris Olave confidence is 7.8.
Okay.
Low confidence player. We're going to start here. The answer is going to be a 5 out of 10 confident, but I want to give you my trivia first. There is one team this year that is yet to allow a running back to reach 50
Texas
rushing
State.
yards in a game this season.
50 rushing
One
yards.
team that has not allowed 50 rushing yards in a game.
Not allowed a running back to reach 50 rushing yards in a game this season.
Is
It
it
is
the
not
Atlanta
Texas
Falcons?
State. It is not the Falcons. They allowed Christian McCaffrey to go nuts.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Is that the Colts?
No, not the Colts. Not the Colts.
It's
No.
not the Cleveland Browns.
Not the Browns. No.
Not the Rams.
No.
Browns.
No. He just said
Patriots.
Yes.
Yeah.
New England Patriots.
How about that? Believe it or not, the Patriots.
Thanks for listening to me when I said the Browns, Mike.
Yeah. The Patriots
Yeah, I
have
was
not
listening.
allowed a running back to reach 50 rushing yards
That's
in a
crazy.
game this season. They have been playing some good defense up front, at least in the running game. The only player to reach 50 rushing yards against the Patriots this year was Josh Allen with 53 in that game on Sunday Night
Wasn't even a
Football.
running back.
Yeah, why? That's the only player.
Okay.
Not a running back. Anyways, that leads me to Quinshon Judkins at a 5 out of 10 this week, lower, especially considering how great he was last week when he had 3 rushing touchdowns. But Mike has been hot on the fact that he is not really a factor at all in the passing game. He's a very, very good player. And my guess is the Browns are telling themselves coming out of the gates, we want to be able to run the football and keep opposing offenses off the field. I'm not sure that this Patriots defense can be slowed down enough that the Browns can make this a grinded out 17-14 game in the fourth quarter, which would allow Quinshon Judkins to A, have some good passing, good rushing volume, and B, stay on the field. So the Patriots been a stingy run defense. Quinshon Judkins, not really a factor in the passing game. He's my 20th ranked running back this week.
We really need that Browns running back core to become a 2-person committee. Because right now I feel like
Jerome Ford.
Yeah, because with
Ford could be a trade candidate. He'd be an obvious one to me.
I think that Quinshon Judkins could get like a target or two a game if they didn't have both of those other two running backs. But right now it feels like he's just not going to get any passing game work with both Dylan Sampson and Jerome Ford also back there splitting time.
Yeah,
with
I
him.
said this on FF Now Sunday. He's being utilized like Derrick Henry, but the offense is a lot worse. So they picked on Miami last week. We kind of saw that coming.
Yep.
I talked about these concerns, and then in the other side of my mouth said he's still a top 10 player because he was facing the Dolphins.
Right.
This is the opposite challenge to your point against New England. There's a good chance he has 15 carries for 34 yards, no touchdowns, and sees 1 or 2 targets for 8 yards, and that's it in this game. I mean, that's what we've seen from running backs against New England, even good ones. So I'm with you. It feels tough to rank a guy this low that's been this good and with 6 teams on a bye, but I could not justify him any higher. I'm at, I have him ranked 18th. I could be 24th easily. I mean, it's a tough spot.
There's a category of running backs now. Derrick Henry will always be the poster child of this category. If guys who are going to have potentially great rushing volume and maybe great rushing efficiency as well, but minimal passing game utilization. Henry, the new kid on the block, is Quinshon Judkins. J.K. Dobbins very much fits into this
David
category
Montgomery
as well.
Jordan Mason.
Monty, Jordan Mason.
Yep.
So these low-volume passing guys, not quite as useful, especially in bad matchups.
What's funny is of all the guys you just said, the guy that gets the highest target share is Montgomery, actually.
It's crazy.
He's kind of been really close to Gibbs the last couple of weeks because they've been running Gibbs more, and he's not seeing as much work in the passing game if you look at his target shares. And
I
Montgomery has.
I didn't think that they could talk higher about Jahmyr Gibbs until that press conference where Dan Campbell's just like, yeah, man, the dude's unlocked. Like, I don't know what you're going to do with Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, there's no going back. He literally said, there's no going back
the
at this
best player
point.
in the NFL. We're going to have to start a new debate about whether it's him or Bijan. It's like so funny.
Every week.
It's like every week it's a new yes.
Because Nakua got hurt, so.
Yeah,
right.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's just fun
Who do
talking
you guys
about
think
guys.
Wait,
just
Jamar Chase is back now.
Who do you think
CeeDee
the best player in the NFL?
Christian
Truthfully.
McCaffrey.
Okay, Christian.
You think he's the best player?
Either
in
Christian
I don't.
McCaffrey or Bijan Robinson. I think those two.
Obviously,
Although,
non-quarterbacks.
Are you talking in
Quarterbacks-
fantasy? When you say that, do you mean
No,
from
the
a fan?
best player in the
straight,
NFL.
Okay,
If
well,
the
then not
Falcons
Christian
keep saying
McCaffrey.
Bijan's the best player in the NFL. Now, if they had Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback, they probably wouldn't be saying that, right?
Yeah.
Best player, not fantasy related, just best player in the NFL.
Take away quarterbacks because the truth is the best players in the NFL are in some order: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen,
This is
Lamar
such a tough call.
Jackson, Jalen Hurts. Those
Say
players.
Pat Surtain. Miles Garrett's a great one.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stick with Aaron Donald. I know he's been retired. but He's still so
Probably
good.
the right answer.
I still think. Oh, Brandon Graham's back. Definitely.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
There you
him.
go.
That's him.
Anyways,
No, that's,
I say this only to say that like Bijan's amazing. I'd have to think about that best player in the NFL moniker a
I
little
need to
bit
think about
longer
it a little
before
more,
I
too.
describe him as exactly the best player in the NFL. Mike, who is your first pick for low confidence?
Mine is Michael Penix Jr. Guys, I'm putting him in the 30th percentile of Michael Juniors. Okay, he's
Wow.
an embarrassment to the Michael Jr. name,
Okay.
and I'm not thrilled about what I've been seeing
Yeah, I'll
the
bet.
last couple of weeks or really this season. 5 passing touchdowns and 3 interceptions in 6 games. He has 0 or 1 touchdowns in 4 of his 5 last games. That's not going to cut it
How
in
many games with
fantasy.
300 passing yards?
How many with 300? 0, right?
Week one, I believe it was.
Oh, week 1. Okay. Yeah, he did that. He had a lot of passing yards late last season too, but it just hasn't carried over since the opener. And he's not delivering as a rusher. We thought maybe in the back of our mind, maybe he would start doing it a little this year. It's just not happening. He has 43 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. 0 weekly finishes better than 10th so far in fantasy. 17th or lower 4 of 6 weeks. And the reason that I pointed him out, because like you're probably thinking, yeah, okay, so he's not a starter. He's on waivers. We're not using him. But he's facing Miami this week. So you might think 6 teams on a bye. He has Miami. This is a streaming opportunity. I say no. I still have little confidence in him, much like when we talked about Bryce Young a few weeks ago in this matchup where we said, hey, everyone's putting up big points, but we were like, I don't necessarily think Bryce Young, who's been the 25th best fantasy quarterback, maybe that makes him 15th, but not a starter. Same kind of thing here with Penix. So, and to put a little more context on that, the Dolphins have allowed 18-plus points to Daniel Jones, Justin Fields. I mean, at that point, he did a lot with his legs and, was playing a little better. Drake
He
May.
had a 43-yard rushing touchdown in that game, did Justin.
That was a big part of that.
Yep.
Daniel Jones, Fields, Drake May, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Some terrific quarterbacks, including some
Just a
terrific
little bit
fantasy
different.
quarterbacks.
Yes.
12 points to Bryce Young, 5.8 to Dylan Gabriel. So when they played them bottom quarterbacks, they haven't been like
I think he's more in that
auto
range
streamers
too.
Exactly right. So I would agree. I mean, if you're in a desperate spot, you could do worse than this matchup, but I'm not going to stream him this week, even though the matchup's terrific.
What an interesting evaluation Penix is as a real-life player right now, too, right? Because he came into the NFL just this wonderfully gifted passer who was excellent on vertical shots down the field. And it feels to me, and this is probably being a bit reductive, it's like not totally the offense to maximize his skill set at this point. Maybe that's because the offense just runs through Bijan, but it feels like Penix is slightly miscast in what they're trying to have him do.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, with the way that he started, like, I mean, with what we've seen so far, I wonder if Terry's feeling a little. I remember him, like, that video of Terry Fontenot trying to convince Arthur Blank, no, the reason why we took this guy this early, even though we didn't need a quarterback and you just paid someone so much money, is because. And now it's like, are you feeling a little like nervous
Yeah,
here?
if they both
with the way
don't work out, that's tough. Yeah, I never have a problem with throwing darts at quarterbacks, but I mean that
even
was
when you paid
bold
someone
strategy.
$100 million.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
thing.
the tricky
They just
part.
gave Kirk Cousins a bunch of money. It was an interesting decision.
Yeah, he is not. When I watch him, I'm not really. He's not really moving the needle so far. And I think the modern NFL really is if you're not able to
Athletic.
add that other dimension and add value with your legs, which again, that's a game-winning skill set, like to be able to say, okay, I can't, no one's open, but I'm going to pick up 6 yards with a run. I mean, that makes a big difference in the modern NFL.
It does.
But if you don't do that, you have to be out top 5 in pass. I mean, you have to deliver
Burrow.
big time. Matthew Stafford too.
I was just
mean,
going to say
Jared
Burrow,
Goff.
Stafford, Goff,
you have to be
all
at
those
that
guys.
level to lead a team to victories, and he's not doing either one right now. So it's a problem.
Yeah.
Conundrum. They're just a conundrum team.
They are.
3-3 Atlanta after 6
And good
games.
supporting cast there. So I'm sorry, but there's no excuses.
Bless you. Or
I broke
something.
thank you. I broke the rules a little bit here. You guys chose individual players. I actually chose a tandem that fantasy managers have been struggling to figure out who to trust
Get out.
Okay.
all season long. And for me, I think my lowest confidence people are Field Yates and Mike Clay.
Can't blame you.
I mean,
Tell us
Field
more.
Yates, come on. That guy wears towels for shirts and boats for shoes. You can't trust that.
Did you lose start of the weeks last week?
Yeah,
And Mike, that guy still hasn't learned not to trust Packers wide receivers. Are you kidding me?
I mean, you're just saying.
You
facts at
guys
this
did
point.
this. I just want you to know, like, you unlocked this comedy gene in me, and now your
did.
punishment, my punishment becomes your punishment for the rest of the
You know
season.
what he did? He went last night. He went to. He got this idea to do this, and he went on to ChatGPT and said, "Write jokes about." That's what he did.
Well, I can't
This is
figure
all
out.
AI.
Is this in response to the text that I sent yesterday to the
The
group?
best
thread?
part about it is I said this to Christina, our producer, at lunch. I want to do low confidence on Mike and Field. And then about an hour and a half later, Field responds to a group chat that he's only supposed to send directly to our producer and says, I'm highest on this guy, lowest on that bum Mike Clay. And it's like, we had the exact same idea, but I took a shot at you and you only took a shot at Mike Clay. So I'm sorry. I
It's okay.
apologize.
No.
I was trying to.
No, it's totally fine.
all right.
It was just funny.
like
The
you
best
said,
part was that Mike didn't respond, and I was like, "Is Mike?"
I was
pissed?
angry. I went down and worked out. I worked.
Is that what it was?
yeah.
You can tell,
Got
Mike.
some-
I can see it.
I lied.
see
I
it.
did not work it.
Mike, the good news is in this room you blend in because none of us have muscles.
Not me. No, not over here.
Oh, you work out. Come on.
It doesn't,
You're
doesn't
up
do
there.
much though.
We're good.
Let's talk about a guy-
40-year-old men now.
I have low confidence in right now.
It wasn't me and Mike.
It wasn't actually you and Mike. Well, it wasn't
No,
you.
you missed your turn. You're done. You wasted our time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Punished.
That was your
Yeah.
turn. Time's up.
Jaylen Waddle taking on the Falcons this week.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I understand that this is just 1 week. It is just 1 week.
Yeah.
He looked really good the last 2 weeks without Tyreek Hill being there. 6 catches in each of those 2 games, over 90-plus yards, found the end zone in one of those games. It just feels like this last game was such a spectacular way to give away all the good faith that you had earned over the last couple weeks with Jaylen Waddle with how this offense looked.
Tricky one for sure.
The Dolphins just imploded in week 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure. 3 targets, 1 catch for 15 yards. And we wondered after that game, is everyone getting fired?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this
Well,
team even going to, not everyone.
No. But they played the Browns, so they must have been ahead by a lot. They probably only threw like 15 passes, right?
Probably no, Mike.
No,
Probably
or-
not.
So you're saying they were trailing the whole
They
time?
were
and in
trailing the
garbage time?
entire game, and game script would have dictated
Yes.
that Jaylen Waddle would have been massively involved in this game, and then still it just did not happen. Vibes are not high, and now they face the Falcons, who've allowed the second fewest fantasy points per game to wide receivers. Only 2 games. Falcons have only given up 2 games over 11.1 fantasy points to wide receivers. No one has seen more than 8 targets against them. It is an awful matchup on a team that couldn't be lower when it comes to vibes, and it feels like continuity within their offense. I do not believe that Jaylen Waddle is going to be bad for the entirety of the rest of the season. But right now in this short term, this little microcosm of the season with the way that the team has looked, I have very low confidence in him. He is a 4 out of 10 confidence.
I honestly don't know how to feel about him because this Dolphins team, like,
He's the only guy other than Devon Achane too, right? Like you think you would
no
have
Waller.
good confidence.
yeah, Waller's week to week according to Adam Schefter. So I don't know the answer. I truly don't have a good grip on this one. He's really talented. They're playing indoors. That helps. Atlanta is a defense that I don't know how to feel about that matchup, truthfully.
Yeah, they've been really tough on receivers.
They
so
have
far,
been,
so,
yes.
yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if some of that is like, think about some of the teams they have played recently. The
Right.
49ers with nobody, the Bills spread it around so much. They have been great against receivers. I just don't know that they have faced high octane passing offenses. I don't know.
Miami is not one of those.
Well, Jaylen Waddle's a really good player, at least.
He
I don't know.
is.
I have missed wide receiver 22, so I'm a little bit higher, but I feel you. It's a weird
I think
time
I'm at
right
29.
now. Yeah.
I think so. I still have him as a starter. I would still play him this week,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I have
All right.
a question. You're doing mock drafts now, right? For next
I
year?
am. Yeah, the
You
draft
putting-
stinks.
You putting a quarterback on Miami? Think they're in the market?
Yeah. Now bring it up. So I
20 minutes.
I will.
ago.
Yes, I will if we do a mock draft. Here's the big thing, and this is I'm not trying to take away fantasy talk for much more than 30 seconds here. Right now, there's a lot of quarterbacks that are piquing the interest of fans and evaluators.
Mhm.
My current intel is that most of the quarterbacks that people are talking about as first round picks, besides Fernando Mendoza from Indiana, are more likely to go back to school.
Interesting. Okay.
The world of NIL has really changed the landscape. So if a chunk of those guys declare yes for Miami, if they don't, then
I think it's more of a general. Would
They need a
go
quarterback.
that direction?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
they're probably going to have a top 5 pick. So
And they'll-
I'm curious. Maybe
I
a
think
top 2 pick.
everything is on the table there.
Got
New
it.
regime, new quarterback, you name it.
All right, cool.
My next player, my confidence is actually a 3.6 here.
Ooh, is it low?
Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt.
Yeah.
The Commanders play on Monday against the Chiefs.
Yep.
Of course, Krosky-Merritt is the starting running back for the Commanders. But if they get game scripted out of this game, which the Chiefs, have you guys noticed that the Chiefs have led or been tied for 82% of their snaps over the past 2 weeks? Is there any reason to believe this Chiefs offense is going to slow down based off what we saw this past Sunday and the Sunday
way.
prior?
They're getting.
It's only getting better.
and healthier.
Getting better and healthier. It's healthier. It's Monday Night Football. It's Kansas City. Would anybody, if Marcus Mariota especially is starting on Monday night, be surprised if the end of the first quarter it's 17-0 Kansas City? I wouldn't be, that's for sure. And Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is a talented runner who has 7 catches in 7 games.
Yep.
So he's my running back 30 this week, which is 7 spots lower than Mike, 6 spots lower than Daniel. There are 6 teams on a bye. It's not like I love all 29 guys ahead of him. I'm just nervous about game script becoming a factor.
Yeah, he's in that same echelon that we talked about with those other running backs, right? Like if you're not a pass catcher, Quinshon Judkins, Derrick Henry, it's very much
tough,
that
man.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. This has nothing to do with the Commanders, but they're
Back to the
playing
mock
the
draft?
Chiefs.
Oh.
No, they're playing the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The whole thing around their tackle situation has felt very interesting to me.
Yeah, I got no info there.
This is one of those that they've been playing really well without their left tackle. I'm interested to see. I hope that they can get him back and that everything's
Yeah.
okay with Josh Simmons because it seems like it's a very interesting
Yeah,
conversation.
it is. Yep.
Unfortunately. All right, Mike, give us one more for you guys.
Yeah, speaking of those borderline running backs, so actually you just talked about the guy I have 23rd on my board. Krosky-Merritt at 21 this week is Ramondre Stevenson, who
tough
apparently was my only good player in
Starts of the week.
last week. I don't even know how I did. I know I did poor, but he did fine, guys. I was a little nervous about that one after back-to-back duds, but
Titans.
Titans, exactly.
That's why.
Right. I'll get to that in a second. But I have him at 20. I'm going to give him 3 out of 10 fumbled footballs presented by #free Trevion.
I like this.
So, yeah, you got to have a good scale.
I
guys.
like your
It's important to
scales.
have a good
You've had
scale.
good scales today.
Good
3 out
scales.
of 10 fumbled footballs is a good scale.
What would you give me? What grade would you give me for scales?
I'd give you 4. I was trying to think of I'd give you 3 Lady Liberties out of 3. Isn't Lady Liberty the one with the blindfolds and she's holding the scales on both
okay.
sides?
All right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No?
Nope.
Yeah.
But you're doing 6-7.
You can do like
man.
6, 7
You
different
could just do
things
6,
on
7.
there.
Okay.
Sorry,
Anyway,
guys.
that didn't go well. Ramondre Stevenson. Here's the good: over 70% of the snaps in 2 straight, and over 14.5 fantasy points. 2 of his last 3 is 2 touchdowns during the span. But here's the bad guys. His 2 biggest games of the season have come in very clearly his 2 easiest matchups of the season. 21 points against Miami in week 2, 16.8 last week against the Titans. Otherwise, he's averaging 6.8 fantasy points per game this
Gross.
year. He's finished outside the top 40 running backs 4 times already in 7 games. The first couple weeks of the season, he was used in the passing game a bit. That's gone. He hasn't cleared 2 targets in a game since week 3. Has a total of 16 receiving yards over
Wait,
his last
since
4
he's not
games.
getting that passing game work, does that mean Travion Henderson is getting it all?
No one is.
Oh, he's
No one
not.
is.
Okay, got it. All
Keyshawn
right.
Mac Booty and Mac Hollins, Keyshawn Booty.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Booty's just a wild one. He just scores touchdowns random. Like he'll have one target and catch it for a 54-yard touchdown. That's all he does.
He is the player in the NFL that has the most fantasy points based on the lowest number of targets that he has. No one else has more fantasy points versus
points
targets.
Per target's gotta be him.
So he's a Booty fantasy start. Is what you're saying.
Yes.
Can't trust him. No
good
confidence.
Booty. He's a good Booty fantasy start.
No, you don't know. We don't want to start him. Are you telling people to start him?
Oh, no. Sorry. But he is a good Booty, like, because of the fact that he is doing good things with, like, the limited touches that he gets.
I had a buddy try to trade Quinshon Judkins and Quinshon Booty to me before last week for my Justin Jefferson.
Ooh.
And
that's not a good trade.
Okay. So Booty scores a touchdown. Judkins, of course, has 3. And he was like, do you regret that? I was
thinking about it?
No. Yeah. Like, Booty scored
no,
he had
I don't
one
regret
catch.
that.
You know, like, no, Justin Jefferson. Like, I don't enjoy giving away $1 for 55 or 65 cents. I'm sorry.
Your 2-leg parlay hit this week. Let's see how it works out next week, guys.
Yeah, exactly right.
I really want Jefferson
guys,
to score 50 tomorrow night.
You can say the same thing.
Hey, man.
That'd be amazing.
Do you regret making that offer? Okay. Anyway, Stevenson, they're playing the Browns this week. So back from an easy matchup to a tough one. Browns fewest yards and fantasy points to running backs. Only one running back has cleared 13.1 fantasy points against the Browns. That was your guy, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Only at 17.7. So I actually held him in check based on what we've seen from him.
They did well against him.
So Ramondre, back down. So, 6 teams on a bye. So a lot of these guys, I mean, look, if you're projected for like 13, 14 touches, you're probably a top 25 running back this week.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about a tight end because if you are averaging like 8 points per game, you're like a top 6 tight end right now in fantasy football. Dalton Kincaid. Kincaid managers have gotten incredible production this year. At least 7.5 fantasy points in every single game. 3 games over 14.5 fantasy points. He is tight end 5 in points per game. But the uber concerning thing, and you guys already know this. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to our audience. He's tight end 20 in targets per game. Yep. He is out-producing his volume in such a major way. He sees less targets per game than both Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman. Those aren't like the litmus test for the guys that you want to compare your targets per game to. They're not big volume guys. The positive side for this week is the Panthers not really good against the position so far. They've allowed the 6th most points per game to the tight end so far this year. But I do believe, unfortunately, Kincaid is just a house of cards that is waiting to topple because eventually that production is going to come back to earth and meet more what the actual volume is. He is the tight end version in my mind. They don't play the same game, but he's the tight end version of the way that I think of DK Metcalf this year.
Interesting. It's almost like part of me wonders if like rather than like coming back down to earth is for the remaining 11 games the Bills have, it's like Kincaid has 3 awesome games and then 8 where you're like, dang it, why did I start him? You know, so I don't think he's going to level out as like, hey, every week you expect somewhere between like 8 and 11 fantasy points. It might just be that you have over the next 11 games, 3 20-point efforts, 4 games under 5 fantasy points, and then 4 more between like 6 and 9.
Yeah, so far what he's been is essentially what Mark Andrews was the second half of last season, where you have to have the touchdowns. And you might say, well, it's a great offense. Maybe he will be that. Maybe, but you just can't count on that every week. And also, he doesn't have a history of scoring touchdowns. He's already at like career highs across the board and end zone targets and touchdowns. So it's much like Dallas Goedert. It's unlikely to be sustainable.
Yeah.
All right, time for a game of Field in the Blanks. We play this, I don't know, every couple of weeks or so. I am going to read a sentence with the blank. And then do you guys want me to fill it in myself, or did you guys come with answers on your own?
I came with answers on my own, but I want to
as well. But
okay, good.
I want to know what you have.
We'll go around the horn. We don't
participate.
need to there we go. How about this? I'll read the statement. I'll fill in the blank myself.
Perfect.
Give a quick rationale, and then you pass it along. We don't need to every single player make it a huge topic.
Okay.
After 8 weeks, blank has dropped considerably in my rankings and will stay there the rest of the season. My answer is after 8 weeks, DJ Moore has dropped considerably in my rankings and will stay there rest of season.
Please trade him.
He was top 20. Please trade. Oh, for the Bears, you're saying?
Yeah.
I was going to say I can't get much for him in real life in my fantasy. So he was a top 20ish. He was my wide receiver bust. So I guess I did sort of see this, but I still had him as a top 20ish wide receiver. He's reached a 20% target share just once in a game this year. That was actually last week. But he's had exactly 4, 5, or 6 targets in every game this season. He's been in double digits for fantasy points once all year.
Gross.
All right. I like it. Mine, guys, is Chuba Hubbard.
Good call.
Yeah. So Rico Dowdle. I mean, the short reasoning here is Rico Dowdle's not going away.
Yeah,
We saw him split
agreed.
the backfield. It was drive, back and forth. Great matchup against the Bills this week. 6 teams on a bye. We're going to say that so many times. So you can buy him as a fringe RB2, but I don't think he's going to get back to that fringe RB1 status. I just don't think Dowdle's going anywhere. Barring an injury, he has fallen down to more of a committee back and probably the 1B, frankly, the way Dowdle's played. So that's it for me. I just think he's now more of an RB2 flex.
After 8 weeks, Mike Clay has dropped considerably. I'm kidding. No,
all
it's
right.
David Montgomery. David Montgomery has dropped.
Oh, really?
Still a 2 running back team, but I think this is Jahmyr Gibbs' team. I think the last couple seasons with this committee, you've been able to play him as like a medium to low end RB2 with some upside weeks. Those upside weeks are getting much harder. Very little passing game. He's become the grinder that gets tough yards in this Lions offense. I don't think he's the same guy that he was the last 2 seasons with the way that Ja has taken control.
Yeah.
No argument there.
All right.
After 8 weeks, blank has risen significantly in my rankings and will stay there for the rest of the season. My answer is after 8 weeks, Javonte Williams has risen considerably in my rankings and will stay there rest of the season. He has now finished as a top 8 running back 3 times in a week. He's been top 15 5 times. He has 18.8 or more fantasy points 5 times. He's playing 74.3% of the snaps. Jaden Blue is just not quite ready for prime time. Hunter Lipke is as much of a threat to Javonte Williams as Jaden Blue is. He's just been awesome. This Cowboys team is a wagon. There's scoring opportunities here. Very impressed with Javonte Williams.
Yeah, good call there. Definitely thought about him. Mine's going to seem obvious, but there's more reason for confidence in this guy now that he can sustain this level, Emeka Egbuka. So the thought was, okay, eventually Mike Evans will be back and Chris Godwin and Jalen McMillan, and now they have Kate Otten and they have the 2 good running backs. He's probably going to drop off and be a little more inconsistent, maybe a wide receiver 3. Not anymore, guys. Mike Evans is basically done for the season. We might get him toward the end of the year, but for the next couple months, it's going to be, and Chris Godwin, we don't know when he'll be back. Jalen McMillan might be a month or so away.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no reason to think that Egbuka won't be their number 1 receiver the rest of the season, even when those guys come back. So, the reason I following exactly the way this was written, like a guy that's risen up the ranks and can stay there now, I think he now fits that bill of a guy that's kind of a cemented wide receiver 1 in fantasy going forward.
That's
So,
fair.
Yeah.
After 8 weeks, Field Yates has risen in my ranks. No, I'm kidding.
Thank you.
See?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
You've
I did it. I've exhausted the jokes, guys.
No,
I got it.
you haven't. Just keep going. Yeah.
After 8 weeks, Patrick Mahomes is the guy that has risen in my ranks and will stay there the rest of the season.
Nice job.
Thank you.
All right,
I got to
good
come
for you
around to it. Sooner or later, you got to grow up and become a big kid. You know what I mean? What he's doing with his legs is incredible. Unbelievable. Like, he's adding so much value with his legs. He gets Rashee Rice back, which was huge, obviously. Still has Hollywood. Still has Xavier Worthy. Still has Travis Kelce. All the other parts of it. The Chiefs are cruising, and given the fact that Mahomes is utilizing his legs and the offense just got healthy, and they are, 22 or more fantasy points in every single game. The dude is unbelievable. I'm not sure if I was redrafting today and I had the knowledge that I have right now, he might be the number 1 quarterback that I take off the board.
He's on the short list at the very least. I was talking about the Broncos earlier, how like when they get to the goal line and Sean Payton overthinks stuff. With the Chiefs, like it's not really overthinking it when you throw the football from the 5-yard line and in, because they don't really have a great running back to finish drives.
Yeah.
They have Kareem Hunt, who's fine for 1 or 2 yards, but I would be just as confident in Patrick Mahomes flicking the ball like to a left tackle or to like Rashee Rice behind the back as I would be Kareem Hunt getting a 1 or 2 yard opportunity. So that only buoys the value of Patrick Mahomes. He has been great.
Agreed.
Yeah, what did he play, like 4 or 5 series last week? And put up,
dude, unbelievable.
Didn't even play the 4th quarter.
We talked about that. They
unreal.
benched everyone in the 4th quarter.
Can I tell you guys what comes to mind for me when we talk about these players who rise up and down, whether it's from the beginning of the season or in the case of like some of these guys from prior years as well? That's why I love dynasty leagues. That's why I love it.
Yeah.
Like I have a league in which I drafted, I won the lottery and I drafted first. And I took Mahomes first overall. And this was the year.
Startup Dynasty is what you're saying.
Startup Dynasty,
okay.
yep.
Okay.
And I think this was the year, this was right after Jalen Hurts' rookie season as well. He showed some promise, but he was definitely not cemented as Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Anyways, I ended up with Patrick Mahomes and then Jalen Hurts it's a super flex league. And so I was like, man, but at the time, trust me, at the time, Jalen Hurts did not feel like this heist. It
Didn't
was
feel like Jalen Hurts.
It would be probably like drafting, like getting, I don't know, Drake May this past offseason, where you're like, you like the player, there's some optimism, but is he a guaranteed top 5 fantasy quarterback?
Sure.
Drake is probably in that conversation now. Anyways, over the past few years, I've had good success, but haven't yet won the league. So we're like 5 years in probably. And not taking Josh Allen or not taking Lamar Jackson has like kept me up at night at times because Mahomes has been less dominant. Now all of a sudden I'm like, told you guys,
we're back.
Never
I
wrong.
told you, that's right.
Never wrong.
Never
Only
once.
sometimes too early on players. So
That's
Mahomes and Javonte Williams, guys who have seen their value go up and down.
You just had to wait 5 years for both Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes to be good at the same time for you in football.
I lost the finals with the first or second year in that league, and I was like, this was the classic, like, you'll be back there every year, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm too good with these two quarterbacks, and then I haven't been back to the finals
That's
since.
hilarious.
We'll see how things shake out this year. A guy whose value hasn't really changed much is fill in the blank. Blank is Mr. Reliable, where I've ranked him since week 1. My answer is Josh Jacobs is Mr. Reliable in terms of where I've ranked him since week 1. He has 12 or more fantasy points in every game this season. 12.4 to be specific, but it's been usually a whole lot better than that. He's now 3rd in fantasy points per game for running backs. Over the last 3 weeks, his finishes at running back are 3, 2, and 15. This is a very good rushing attack. He gets all their goal line work. He gets a little bit of passing game utilization as well.
Yep.
He sees a ton of opportunity. Marshawn Lloyd may never become that player that some thought they were getting when they drafted him in the 3rd round last year. Josh Jacobs is just comfort food, man. He is awesome every week.
Yeah. Speaking of comfort food, by the way, I like this question because oftentimes we talk about these top guys. Like, we don't really spend time on CMC, Bijan, Jacobs.
I actually looked for names we haven't talked about as much.
Yeah, because it's just like, start them. They're superstars. Keep playing them. So I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson here and
Oh,
talk
look at
about
you.
him. Because I also think this is fascinating. On Sunday, he had 40 rushing yards.
Yeah.
So fantasy dud, right? I mean, if that was Quinshon Judkins or Derrick Henry, it'd be like that bad fantasy day. Not for Bijan Robinson, who had 52 yards and a touchdown and 6 catches as well, and ended up with 21.2 fantasy points in a bad rushing day. Now has at least 16 fantasy points in every game. He's averaging 16.2 carries and 6.8 targets per game. Very CMC-like usage for him suddenly. So he's 2nd in scrimmage yards, and he's already had his bye, and he gets Miami this week.
Last thing I'll say about Bijan,
what's
what's wild about him as a receiver is that a lot of running backs who see a ton of volume, it's like 100 catches for 600 yards. His yards per catch is like over 10 for Bijan. Like, he is a legitimate wide receiver who also plays running back.
Explosive.
Shout out, Bijan.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah.
I almost went with the lower end. So I thought about this because it was like, who is consistent? I ended up going with Amon-Ra St. Brown because he has
he's a
been
good
as
answer.
consistent as you get, it feels like, in fantasy football. Maybe once or twice a year he'll have a dud, but he has...
It happened to be week 1 this year.
Correct.
3 for 36
The
in
whole
week
team
1.
that week, yeah.
But he has got one of, if not the safest floors in fantasy football, and he scored 7 touchdowns this year. He leads all wide receivers in touchdowns. Every week seems like it's always an Amon-Ra St. Brown week. The guy I was going to go with that wasn't the top guy was going to be Michael Pittman Jr. Because I think he has been a consistent guy in our rankings. Once we found out that Daniel Jones was going to be the quarterback, it was like, oh, okay, I can plug him in as like a low-end wide receiver 2 or flex play in my squad. And that's basically what he's been. He may have given us a little bit more production than that, but Michael Pittman Jr. is one of those unsexy, steady guys at the wide receiver spot that you just get good production from week in and week out.
Great football player right there, Michael Pittman Jr.
He is.
Blank has pleasantly surprised me through the first half of the fantasy football regular season.
Liz Loza.
Also agreed on that. George Pickens has pleasantly surprised me through the first half of the fantasy football regular season.
Nice.
And coming into the year, I'll remind people that we had this bubble of guys. I think of Jaylen Waddle, Rome Odunze, George Pickens, Travis Hunter, who were like right around wide receiver 30. Tedero McMillan, where you're like, they all kind of have upside, but they also have some mitigating factors. In the case of Pickens, it was, what if CeeDee Lamb has a 33% target share, and there's just not quite as much meat on the bone for Pickens, which, by the way, that might prove to be the case. He had just 6 targets last week, and it was the first 2 weeks of the season, so maybe Pickens will level off a little bit here. But for now, 3rd in fantasy points per game, 4th in yards, receiving yards per game. He scored a touchdown in 5 of 7 games. I know the touchdowns are a lot less predictive than other stats, but if there's any offense where scoring is going to happen a lot, and any receiver who, based off of the style of play he brings to the table, That would be George Pickens, who has a better chance, I think, than most wideouts to get end zone opportunities here.
Is it wrong to think about George Pickens the way that we thought about T. Higgins coming into the season? Like
It checks out.
a healthy Joe Burrow,
Yeah.
like you've got an offense with a
That's a
bad
good
defense.
analogy.
Like that's
Yeah,
kind
really
of
good analogy.
what he thinks, what I think of him.
Yeah.
Agree.
By the way, you guys are here. Eric's in the chat. I don't know who else is listening that's in our league, but George Pickens available in the FF Now league. I have too many receivers.
Okay.
Need to move
Oh,
him.
wow.
As is this guy, Keenan Allen is mine.
boy.
He's been
He was my
outstanding.
first pick, and then I erased.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, look,
I'm
he's
being
been
serious,
awesome.
yeah.
Top 5 in targets, catches, and end zone targets too. Guys, he's 7th in fantasy points. 2 years ago, last time he was with Justin Herbert, he was wide receiver 8 in fantasy points. I mean, these guys just have a great connection. Target share is down from where it was 2 years ago, but again, the end zone usage has been outstanding. So every week we talk about how do you rank the Chargers receivers, and I have all 3 of them in FF now. I don't know, guys. I struggle with which one am I most likely to trade, which one's worth the most. I really don't know, because right now I think Keenan Allen might be the best of the 3. Next week it might be Quentin Johnson again if he has a long touchdown. So they're all terrific. They're all must starts right now. But Keenan Allen at his age to be doing what he's doing is really impressive.
I believe what we concluded on Monday was like it's actually less important to have an answer about like who, or maybe this was last week where it was like, guys, like we can do this bit and have fun with the internet for every week of the season. The truth is that all 3 of them are awesome for fantasy. On top of that, it's possible that for the remaining 11 games they have, Allen leads the team in fantasy points 4 times. Ladd gets 4, and Quentin Johnson gets 3.
Dude,
Yeah,
let me
but I have
explain
to
how
pick.
this works,
I
guys.
have to pick from them though.
In the
That's not hard.
pregame, Jim Harbaugh takes a wheel similar like what we have, and they spin it. And they're like, Justin, here's who your number 1 wide receiver is today. That's who you're going to feature. And they do that for all 4 of the players, including Orlando Gadsden now, because we added another pass catcher to the list.
Why not?
As well.
YOLO. Who's your pick?
DeAndre Swift has pleasantly surprised me. How about a running back 2 candidate that has actually worked out for people that drafted him so far this year? He did start a little bit slow. However, touchdown in 4. You got to love him. Touchdown in 4 of the last 5. 16 points in 3 straight games. He's running back 12 this season, getting passing game work. Kyle Mungai coming on a little bit now the last couple of games, but not very many running backs that you drafted in that like RB2 range have really like given you good value at the RB2 situation.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift is one of the few guys that has done that.
He has been really good over the
no
last
doubt.
couple of games. Last one here is someone who may have had a rocky start, but will remain strong the rest of the season. And I'm going to venture a guess that at least one of you will have the same answer as me.
Okay. Who is it?
Travis Hunter is someone who had a rocky
Miami.
start, but will remain strong the rest of the season.
Like it.
For the past 2 weeks, Travis Hunter has played 79 and 86% of the offensive snaps, 20 targets, which was 7, and then 13, 12 catches. He had his first touchdown last week.
Yep.
Brian Thomas Jr. is banged up to some degree. We don't know. They're on a bye. They're not practicing this week. There's no injury report. I haven't heard a consequential update on Brian Thomas Jr. at the time of this conversation. But one way or another, I think the Jaguars are going to integrate Travis Hunter into this offense a whole lot more. When you're 4-1 and the defense is playing great, you get this huge win over the Chiefs.
Yep.
Everybody can say, let's not fix what isn't broken yet. They're 4-3, and they have looked listless in each of their past 2 defeats. Wouldn't surprise me if the Travis Hunter offensive experiment becomes the norm for them going forward.
Yeah. Featured this past week and 0 defensive snaps in non-garbage time.
Yep. It was all garbage time.
Yeah,
for him.
yeah. I'm with you. I'm gonna go with a guy who was a healthy scratch the first 2 weeks of the season.
Hold on.
Jaden Blue.
No,
Oh, he was mentioned on the show already.
Healthy scratch the first 2 games of the season.
Yes.
He was mentioned
I got
on the
nothing.
show.
Rondé Gadsden.
Hey!
Yeah, so healthy scratch first 2 games, 5th round rookie, of course, but he made some noise in the preseason. So I think a lot of people were kind of surprised by that, but he has come on very strong as of late, including last week. How do we ignore this, guys? 9 targets, 164 yards, and a touchdown from a tight end, one of the hottest ads on waivers for a reason. His snap share has now increased all 5 weeks of the season, and over the last 2 weeks, 7+. He actually has 7+ targets in 3 of his 5 games, which is a big number for tight ends. 8+ targets, 7 catches, and 68+ yards in 2 straight games. This past Sunday was his first game reaching 12 fantasy points, so there's some obvious risk here, but it seems like he is just part of this offense now. The 3 receivers in Gadsden are kind of, I don't want to say equal in targets, but they're all the core of the passing game. So as far as I'm concerned, Gadsden is in the tight end 1 conversation going forward.
Do you keep pass rate over expected in neutral spots?
Yeah, I do. I adjust for every play. So basically, I'll look at a play and say, here's what the score is, how deep into the game it is, what's the expectation that they'll throw, and then see if they do or don't. And then I do that for every play, every team. And they're one of the pass heaviest in the NFL.
There's got to be a formula that you can plug it into, or do you do that yourself?
I created my own formula based on studying those trends. So I have a model that I pump. Every single play, it runs through every single play, and then it spits out the pass to run heaviest. So the Chiefs are the pass heaviest in the league, for example. The Chargers were initially. They've dropped off a little bit, but still pass heavy.
Only reinforces your argument that one gets. And that, like, for all the talk of these three receivers, you could have 4 guys eating because they get nothing, minimal from the passing game amongst the running.
You don't need a lot of tight end anyway. So,
you just need 5 targets a game, and you're on a radar. 7, and you're like a lock-it-in starter. 10, and you're like the best player in fantasy.
Yeah,
What was the question that you had asked Mike? That you had just said to him was,
does he keep that stat himself? The pass rate over expected.
You got to give us a trigger warning when you're going to do nerdy crap like that on the show.
Okay, my bad.
All right.
Yeah, he brought up expected fantasy points.
I
this year,
know.
too,
Come
so
on, Field.
But thank you, by the way. Yeah.
Let's talk about some pass block win rate right now. If you guys aren't down for that,
why not?
I'm going to pick a Chargers player as well because we just all been choosing one.
Chargers.
I'm not sure there's anyone that started slow. I mean, Travis Hunter did, but like Ladd McConkey, I feel like was the poster child for someone that started slow that we had really high expectations on, started to come around towards like the middle part here of the season. It helped having a game without Quinton Johnston. It felt like that kind of revitalized them a little bit to get them more involved. But I look at this Chargers offense, and it's very similar to me to like a Philly or Detroit defense where there's just a lot of mouths to feed. At this point, you've got a lot of guys that you really like in this offense that are really good at football, that we can just spread the ball around. And Quinton Johnston and Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Oronde Gaston, it's very similar to the 2 offenses that we are fans of in the NFL, where you just have a lot of guys to be able to get the ball to. I still believe that even though this is going to rotate, some games he will eat, some games he won't. I think rest of the season with the way that they're going to utilize him, though, I think it just took a little bit of time realizing, we've got 3 legitimate pass catchers now. So with Ladd McConkey, I still believe in this increased production that we've seen lately. I think he's going to give you a good enough floor. I think this is going to remain steady the rest of the season. Maybe not like a 22-point, game here and there, but I think or every single week, but I think he's going to be a steady option for you at the wide receiver spot.
What's wild is we're talking about 4 fantasy relevant Charger pass catchers, and last week was the first time they've scored more than 2 touchdowns in a game since week 1. So they're not even really scoring a lot. So if they actually start scoring,
man, watch out.
Yeah, get in the end zone. That would be great.
All right, something left to do, don't we?
Start of the
end of the
week.
show. Thanks for watching the program, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Let's go ahead and take a look back at our starts of the week from week 7. See where things.
No memory of who I picked.
Yeah, I don't remember who I picked either. So we're gonna look at this. Field, you had Jared Goff, Kamani Vidal, Jordan Addison, and Zach Ertz.
And you guys Mayer, yeah.
I had C.J. Stroud, J.K. Dobbins,
I had the
Michael
running back.
Pittman Jr.
Oh, you guys
Zach
got
Ertz.
me a receiver. Okay.
Yeah, we picked better receivers than you did.
You know what? I talked about the risk of going with that Packers stack. They needed to come through for me, and they didn't. A combined 20 for Love and Golden. So that's what Packers pass catchers.
I think you need to get a Christian Watson and Matthew Golden tattoo because you just can't quit those 2 guys.
No. Romeo Dobbs is the guy.
All right. Let's go ahead and get this.
All right, bring it over.
Yep. There's a 5K this weekend locally, so in case you get that one there.
No, we got to stop using the same ones. It's no fun.
No, I agree. We can respin if you get the same one that we've already used previously, right? Here we go.
All right, ready?
Oh, a temporary tattoo.
On here, we good?
All right, so mouthful of marshmallows. We agreed that if he gets something we've already gotten,
correct.
We're gonna respin.
Yep, we're gonna respin it.
The full shot there.
Yes, instead of marshmallows, it's gonna be a mouthful.
I was watching The
of
Price is
cubes.
Right last night with the girls, so I'm ready for this.
Oh,
what a great show! Timeless.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Wheel spinning, and we get
a football helmet.
What is this?
Mike
wear a
gets to
helmet
wear
for
a
a whole
football
show.
helmet for the show.
For the whole show?
Yes.
What if it hurts my neck?
Well, too bad.
I can't.
It's going to be fun putting one of those little mini helmets on Mike's head for the whole show.
I have to balance it.
Right yes.
Yes.
Balance it. Yes.
That's amazing.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, as far as punishments go, that's
Should we make him wear like a Giants or a Cowboys helmet?
Oh, yeah. We got to find his least favorite team maybe and figure something out there.
Hey, you guys pick the helmet.
I'm down to do that.
Super sour start of the week.
All right. That would have been fun too. The wheel's fun to spin. It sure is.
That's
all
all
right.
right. Because our producer Christina has excellent handwriting, so I feel bad doing this. Oh, I can't.
Oh, it doesn't even come off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Permanent marker.
Oh.
But anyway, I wanted to participate. It's fun to spin the wheel. That's why I picked a bad team.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah,
That's why. Of
I
course.
sabotaged myself.
Yes. All right. Let's dive into a couple of YouTube questions, if you guys don't mind. A little bit of time here before we close out the show. By the way, shout out to our buddy Eric Moody. Follow him on social media at Eric and Moody everywhere.
He's big on the TikTok, I hear these days.
Big. He's big
Get
everywhere.
trade offers, Eric. Let's make a deal.
This one comes from Michael Rosenberg. Yesterday, I traded Ricky Pearsall, AJ Brown, and Drake May for CeeDee Lamb and Kyle Pitts.
Too many names.
AJ Brown, Ricky Pearsall, and Drake May. For CeeDee Lamb and Kyle Pitts. I'm 4-3. I have Baker Mayfield already, and I have Amon-Ra. Did I do well here? It's always tough when you ask trade questions in review, because what if we didn't like the trade and now
I'll be honest with you. I actually like it because
me too.
he had 2 starting quarterbacks and he could diversify the portfolio. He doesn't need both Drake May and Baker Mayfield. So I look at the deal as upgrading from A.J. Brown to CeeDee Lamb. I'm less concerned about Kyle Pitts and Ricky Pearsall right now. Pearsall, we'll see whether he plays this week. And so the cost of moving up from A.J. Brown to CeeDee Lamb is your backup quarterback, or maybe not your backup, but one of your 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. Yeah,
I'm totally fine with it. Yep. Yeah, agreed.
I would have rather keep Drake May than Baker Mayfield, I think.
Yeah, it's close enough.
They're
though,
close.
right?
I agree.
All right.
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
Let's get the next question here. Next one comes from Andy Cohen. Andy wants to know, do I trade DeAndre Swift and Tez Johnson for Breece Hall and DJ Moore?
I would not.
Wow. Breece and Swift are close.
DJ Moore clearly is a better wide receiver than Tez Johnson.
Yeah, but neither are
But
starting.
how much upside is there for DJ Moore? You know what's interesting is one of the most fascinating Breece players in fantasy right now is Breece Hall. I don't know if it's a strong likelihood, a small likelihood, 100% or 0%, but we're now 13 days away from the NFL trade deadline.
We are.
If Breece Hall gets traded somewhere, it's not going to be to a team that isn't good or doesn't want to use him a lot. It would be like, hey,
send him to the Chiefs.
I'm just saying, if the price becomes right and you're the Chiefs, the Chiefs, they're such a. Here's why the Chiefs are a logical trade team for Breece Hall is obviously they could use a big boost in the backfield, right? On top of that, the Chiefs are not going to be an aggressive free agency spender because so much of the core of their roster is intact, right? And under contract going forward. If Breece Hall gets traded to the Chiefs, for let's say a 3rd or 4th round pick, which for the Chiefs, a 3rd round pick is basically a 4th round pick. It's around 100 overall, okay? And then Breece Hall signs a decent contract this offseason.
So elsewhere.
He'll probably help the Chiefs recoup either a 4th or a 5th round pick. So you're basically paying like a 60 pick difference.
Oh, because of the comp pick,
you're saying. Comp pick, now you get it a year later as opposed to right away. So you don't have that pick in hand. If you're the Jets, I think it's completely illogical to not trade Breece Hall unless you have a deal done with him. Because the Jets this offseason, if they lose Breece Hall, they're going to spend so much money in free agency that they're not going to have any comp picks available. So let's just say the Jets let Breece Hall walk and he goes and he gets 3 years and $30 million elsewhere. The Jets won't get a comp pick as a result of Breece Hall because they got a ton of cap space and a ton of needs. They're going to go spend big elsewhere. It's going to offset it. So I think the Jets would be smart to trade Breece Hall. It's a tangent from this question. I like in a vacuum DeAndre Swift more than Breece Hall.
Do you like comp picks?
I'm not the Baltimore Ravens, but I like them. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Just a whole. I think I'd rather. I just add a round to the draft and be done.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yes.
I think
got it. Okay.
I think it's just a little silly. I mean, it helps the Eagles because they use it wisely. As an Eagles fan, but I think
I was going to say
I didn't know. I thought that was a trick question.
I feel like Eagles and Ravens. There are some teams, like some front offices, that are just really good at strategy when it comes to exactly what you're describing
it just leads
here.
to a lot of nonsense too. Playing games with I don't know. It's just kind of like the promotions on Saturdays for players. Like they'll leave like a clear starter on the practice squad for 3 weeks, and then when they have to promote them, the actor, it's like, come on, just like add 2 spots to the roster. Like
I like this. Mike's complaints about the CBA.
Get off my lawn. My name is Mike Clay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Let's do one more question here before we get out. Chris Romero wants to know, would you trade Wan'Dale Robinson for Tajay Spears?
No.
I have Tony Pollard.
Wan'Dale's on the rise right now.
No way. Yeah, he's a starter. Yeah.
And Tajay Spears, not a starter.
And by the way, Wan'Dale, even if the Giants make a trade for a receiver, maybe let's just say they trade for Jacoby Myers next week.
Yeah.
Wan'Dale probably still a wide receiver 3 or flex. Like, I don't think that's going to change much. I mean, Jackson Dart's playing well. They're going to have to throw the ball plenty.
They're scoring a lot of points right now.
Yeah, I would stay put.
I'm okay with that. Also, what are you going to do with 2 running backs from the same squad other than feel like you've got like an insurance situation?
I don't
of
want
all the insurance
of the
backs.
Titans
Yeah,
That's
don't
it.
hedge there. Play to win. You just hope the guy you have becomes the
Play
lead
to
back.
win the game.
Hey, there we go. Love that. All right, that's going to do it for our show today.
Deuces.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Today's show is presented by Little Caesars. On behalf of Mike and Field, come back and hang out with us tomorrow. Don't forget to love each other. Be kind to yourself. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
Watch Mike in a helmet.
You should wear a helmet everywhere you go, Mike, to protect that big old brain of yours.